This podcast is brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
Because if you can tell me what your habits are, I can tell you what sort of a person you are. I can tell you what your future looks like.
But like I always say, life is 10% what happens to you, it's 90% what you do about it.
The people who are most effective in the workplace believe that their future is going to be bigger than their past. When people don't believe that their future is going to be bigger than their past, they begin to disengage.
You're listening to The Circuit of Success, a podcast dedicated to helping you achieve success in every facet of life. Only on the lineupmedia.fm podcast network. Now, your host, Brett Gilliland.
Well, welcome everybody. Trey, Hardee, how you doing?
Doing
You're
awesome.
on my left. I don't know how it looks on the screen for everybody, but yeah. Trey is on the left. And then Annie is over here. We're going to have to mute Facebook. I forgot about that. I'm going to have to do that. Sorry for those people that are watching, but I have to use it. How do we do that?
I feel like I have to do something like that on every single Zoom or Teams call that I'm on. It's always my computer. It's always like my phone. They're like, Trey, can you just stop talking and just we don't really need you on the call anymore. This is awful.
At all. All right. I think we're good. Can everybody hear us? You know, if you can hear us over there, Jason, if you hit the volume, can you hear it? I think we're good. We'll figure it out. We'll be good. If not, we'll put it out later. So we've got Annie Kunz with us. Annie, you have some big news that you just had happen in the last couple of days. Is that right?
I do. I just got engaged.
Whoa!
Congratulations.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Congrats.
Thank you
That's
so
awesome.
much. It's been
The
fun.
big question is always, when's the big day, right?
Yeah, I've honestly haven't even thought about it. Probably, I'm like, what off season makes sense, I guess. So probably my off season 2023. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just soaking it in right now.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. You are an Olympic athlete. You were the heptathlon. For those listening and watching, that is 7 sports. You went to Texas A&M. And like I said, you were in the Tokyo Olympics, which was awesome. And then we've got Trey Hardee over here. Trey was an NCAA champion, 2-time outdoor world champion in the 2008 Olympics and the 2012 London Games, was a silver medalist, and he is a decathlon. So you two are like the greatest athletes in the world, basically, is what that means when you get to do that. And then we've also got 2 great co-hosts over here. We've got Addison Baldus. Addison, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
She's a world-class soccer player. She doesn't want me to say that, but I know you were too as well, Annie. But
love that.
My son, Drew Gilliland. So, Drew, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. So we want to talk about the Olympic mindset for those parents that are out there watching, maybe the kids that are watching. I'll let these two kind of lead it for a while, because Addison, I know you got to go. So why don't we start with you? And maybe some of your questions for Trey and Annie.
Okay. Well, my first question, our team went through about a 1 month process of a thing called What is Your Why? So we read a book with a lady and talked with her on a Zoom. Basically, we lost the national final, and it was a little rough for our team, but we went through this lady's thing, and it's what is her why. So I'd like to know what your guys' why is. Like, why do you keep going? Why do you do the things you're doing? And on those days whenever you don't want to do it anymore and you just want to quit, like, why do you keep going?
It's a great question, Addie. Annie, why don't you start for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think my why, obviously, I think always, I don't think you should do anything that you're not passionate about and that you're not having fun with, especially with sports. I think when the fun is lost, then you kind of have to question things. And for me, my why is, it's my passion. I love getting out there on the track every day. And my why, I think, also is I want to see how far I can push my body. I want to see what I can do in this sport and how far I can take it. And I think my eyes really opened up with that this last year, with just the progression that I saw. And it really opened my eyes to a future in track that I didn't really know was there. And so it got me excited. And so my why is just, I want to see what I can do with the gifts that God has given me, and see how far I can push my body and take it, and potentially, hopefully, win a medal at the next Olympics. That's kind of my goals right now. And yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with my why. What about you, Trey?
You stole all of the good answers. Those were all of mine. That was my mentality was once, track kind of chose me, especially the decathlon. I think probably same for you, Annie, where that's where you fell. And it was just this thing that I fell into. I only wanted to do this other event. I wanted to just pole vault, and it just found me. I did one and I was like, wow, I think there's something here. And I really enjoyed this. And so my why became to explore that potential. And I was given these gifts. I was tall, I was fast. Stuff came pretty naturally to me. And for myself, I wanted to do that service. The gifts that God gave me, I wanted to be a good steward of those talents. And so, it's a pretty trite, quote, but Steve Prefontaine's quote is to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. And that, whether you think it's hackneyed or whatever, every real athlete kind of feels that deep down, is that they know that the only regret that I was ever going to have would be to retire and not think I had given my best, and look back on those times and not know that I'd done everything within my power to be the best version of myself that I could be, to explore myself physically and mentally and emotionally. And that was really it. That why was to just, it's like that Chariots of Fire quote, like, when I run, I can feel God's love. Like, it's this like thing that when I was doing the best work and the hardest work, it was just this, it's a fulfillment like no other, and it becomes addictive. So, yeah.
What how long did it take you to know your why, though? Because again, 14 or both 14 years old here. I mean, I think you probably didn't have your why at 14, did you?
Absolutely not. I think my why at 14 was fun. Is this fun?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'd agree with the same thing. I loved hanging out with my friends. I loved playing sports. And it led me into these opportunities that I didn't know were there, would be there. And you kind of just follow that. And then it turns into this passion that you develop over years, I think.
Drew, what about you? What questions you have?
One of my questions is, both of you, like, growing up, loving sports and being athletic. When was the time that you wanted to become an Olympian?
Oh gosh. Well, I'll start. I think it had always been like growing up, I was talented. I was athletic. Things came easy, kind of like Trey said. I was fast. I was strong. So things kind of came easy, and I was the best from where I came from. And so it was kind of this far-fetched dream. I remember I got interviewed in high school, and they asked me, what do you want to be an Olympian in, like track or soccer? And I was like, both. And like, you say these things, but I think for me, it really became real during COVID. I think I really realized that my dream was to become an Olympian, and I was going to do whatever it took to get there. So it didn't really feel real for a while. I think it was a far-fetched dream for me, but up until I was, 26 or 27 is when I really took it seriously to kind of pursue that dream, I guess.
Trey, what about you?
Yeah, that was, I'd been in the sport a little while as well. Not as late as Annie, but I had only been doing the decathlon for a couple of years, and I was a sophomore in college, and I went to the Olympic trials and didn't really know much about it. Had only done a couple of decathlons, and I went out and competed with the reigning world champion. I went out and beat in a race like the eventual Olympic champion, the guy that won in 2008. And I just saw all these guys and was like, wow, this is like, had no idea there was a future in it. Had no idea that I had that within me to like want to be an Olympian. But it was that first time stepping on the track in that professional setting, that was maybe a little bit of that competitive nature in myself, knowing like, I think I can compete with these guys, and they're mortal, because at that stage, they are up here. They're the best of the best. I am not even on the same screen. Like I would do this to show the depth of how far away I was, but I'm like way down here, you can't see. So it made it very real and tangible for me. And then I knew I could compete, and I just needed time, because I was 20 years old. They were 28 years old. I just needed time. And so it gave me that glimmer of like, okay, if I stick with this, there's something here. I want to do this. And that became the commitment from that day forward.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Annie.
I was just going to say, I think the Olympic trials for me, not listening to Trey, kind of looking back, was 2016 for me. And same thing. I was a soccer player that, that was my focus for so many years. And the trials, I didn't expect to qualify for the Olympic trials, and you're there and you're just kind of enamored by the athletes you're competing with. And it really opens your eyes to dreams that you might not thought could be there, opportunities that you want. And so competing with the best of the best, I think really motivated me to kind of pursue it further as well.
Probably people you knew and looked up to, right?
Oh, forever. Yeah. You're running and competing against girls that you've been looking up to and watching what the marks have been and watching them compete all over the world. And all of a sudden you're in the lane next to them. And it really opens your eyes to what could be your future.
Addie?
So I'm going to be 15 in April, and I know you guys are not 15, but what advice would you give to your past 15-year-old self if you could say something to him?
Ooh, I think I would look back and tell my 15-year-old self that hard work pays off. I think when I was your age, things kind of came easy to me, and I was a little bit like that lazy but talented athlete. And I wish I would have worked harder a little bit and stayed after practice or got there early and worked on my touch in soccer. And I think up until I got into college is when I really realized, like, okay, I got to start working hard. Talent can only get you so far. So hard work really can get you anywhere you want if you work hard enough. So I would tell myself that, and just to take accountability. I think it's really easy when you're young as well, just to kind of point the finger at like your teammates or your coaches or your circumstances, and not look in the mirror and say, okay, what could I be doing to get better and change my circumstances? So I think taking accountability and then working hard can get you really, really far.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trey, same answer?
I was, pretty much same answer. I was a little, for lack of a better word, kind of a little butthole, like talented kid that stuff came easy for. And it wasn't, I wasn't like hard headed. I did what my coaches asked, but that's all I did. Whatever you have, if you wanted me to jog a lap to warm up, I was not jogging one step more than a lap. And I might even walk a little bit in the middle of that lap. And so my 15-year-old self would just need to hear, just everyone's on the same team and everyone wants you to be the best version of yourself. Just listen to the people that have been put in your life to guide you through this thing and trust them. Everyone's trying to make you the best version. It's not, punitive. No one's trying to punish you or make it worse. It's just all part of this process to make you a better football player, basketball player, athlete, whatever it is.
Okay.
I'm sure there were plenty of days though you didn't want to hear that from your coach, right?
It took another coach. So an interesting story. I was that kid, not listening and farting around, not training. All I did was I pole vaulted every day. I grabbed a pole and I vaulted. No drills, no running, no conditioning, no pull-ups, nothing, just pole vaulted. A coach from another rival high school found me after a track meet my senior year, one of the first ones, like in January indoors, and just said, "Hey Trey, you've got something. Just do what your coach says, no matter what it is. Warm up laps, cool down laps, all this stuff. You've really got something. You could have something here. Just listen." This coach's name was Coach Eccles, and my coach was Coach Huber. And he was just saying, listen to Hubes, do what he's saying, and you're going to be all right. And it had to come from someone else. It couldn't have come from my coach, but it kind of set me on this, like, okay, I was almost 18, so I wish I'd said that to my 15-year-old self, but it took till I was 18 for someone to shoot me straight and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I should probably pay attention.
Well, I'm a lot older than both of you, but was it like when I was a kid, we just played some sports and then you go on to the next sport and then the next sport? Was it like that for you two as well? I mean, I know, Annie, you played two sports at a very high level, but were you from sport to sport to sport, or did you kind of concentrate on one or two things?
Oh yeah. I was in volleyball in the fall. I did cross country one year. And then I would go and transition into, so I was doing club soccer while I was doing high school volleyball. And then I would go into the spring and do high school track and soccer. And then the summer was more track stuff, but, I was constantly bouncing around, and I kind of, I think kids are pressured now more to pick one really early. And I'm grateful that I didn't do that, because I think it made me a more well-rounded athlete. And I got, I have strengths in other areas that I might not gotten if I was just doing one sport. I didn't get burnt out like all the other kids. So I really bounced around, and I loved that. I loved participating in as many sports as I could. And I think it made me a really good, a much better athlete.
Yeah, well, I think that's true what you said about the not just focusing on one sport, because in the fall, I don't know, whatever the last season was.
Yeah. Fall,
I had the basketball tryouts, and I didn't know if I wanted to go or not. And I actually missed the first day, but I had my mom, my dad, coaches, lots of people telling me to play. And one of my mom's biggest things was not to just focus on soccer at 14 years old and to pursue different things. So I think, and I mean, I loved the season. I finished 2 weeks ago, and I mean, I met great players. It helped me conditioning with soccer, but I mean, just to have the other environment rather than just soccer was a big thing. So I like that.
Yeah. I think it's healthy. And I think if you start so young at 14, you're going to get really burnt out by the time you get to college. And then it's going to be a lot harder to find that motivation to keep pursuing it further.
Yeah, because you were soccer first, and then kind of like, oh, I'll do this track thing. And Trey, I don't know about you, but it kind of makes me mad to hear her say, oh, COVID decided I'm going to go be an Olympic athlete. I'm like, come on. I mean, that's not fair,
I think that's just when I really just realized, okay, Annie, you keep saying you want this dream, but are you doing everything in your power to achieve it? It just kind of made me realize, I'm sitting here, I have no coach for the first time in my life. And I was like, okay, I really do want this. Let's start catching up to the other girls. Let's jump ahead of them and take this time and get better. And so that, I think it just felt more real. I was doing the things I needed to be doing to become an Olympian at that time.
It's crazy. Drew, what do you got?
More of the professionalization of what you were doing.
Right. Exactly.
Holding yourself accountable into it.
Yeah.
But that's what you had to do during COVID, right? Was hold yourself accountable because you had no coach. So it's either, nobody was holding you accountable to show up at 7 a.m. to the track or wherever.
No, there was no one. I was out in parks by myself. I was on Finding Hills. I was, I ruined this park with my shot put because, no one was holding me accountable. My coach really wasn't texting me every day. I was more kind of pursuing hey, can we write a plan? It was all on me, and I had to be accountable for the first time and not have a coach in my corner, pushing me. But I think you kind of need those moments to realize that you do want this and no coach is going to give you the secret key. No coach is going to tell you the secret to your success and give you all the answers. It really has to come from you. And I think I figured that out through COVID.
And if a coach ever says that, they're not for you. Do not run as far away from that coach as you can. If they
say what exactly are you saying there, Trey? What do you mean?
I know how to get you to the Olympics, and I know how to help you do this, or I know what we can fix to do this. That's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very good.
It's ego.
Yeah.
True.
So I feel like sometimes when we're playing sports or something, we look at other kids and we just kind of doubt ourselves because looking at them play, I feel like they're just so much better than you. And you feel like you really can't do anything about that. But when did you realize that you could become that person that was better than everybody, and that you were good enough to become to go to the Olympics?
Good question.
I'll take this one.
Yeah,
first.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I never was. You never want to try to be that person. You just want to be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Yeah.
The kind of where we sit, just in general, it's hard being a teenager. You're trying to establish yourself, learn who you are, and establish your identity, all the while looking and being surrounded by people that seem to have it all figured out. Mm-hmm. No one has it figured out, Drew. I'm 38. I got 5 kids. I've got an awesome life, an awesome family. I don't have it figured out yet.
Yeah. 5 kids or 3 kids?
3 kids. Family of 5.
I'm trying to save you here, Trey.
Nobody, see what I'm talking about? Nobody has it figured out, dude. Yeah. Nobody does. And everyone is just trying to
do their best.
And feel like they're doing better than someone else. And it's all for naught. Just be the best version of yourself that you can be happy with at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's people are going to look to that and be like, man, that kid's got something I don't have. What's going on with Drew? That's an attractor. You're going to be a lighthouse for everyone around you if you can figure that out.
Yeah.
To your point on that too, Trey, I think, sorry, Annie, I'll let you
go ahead. No.
I had a thought on that when you said the lighthouse. It's one of the things too, is don't dim your light for somebody else either, right? If you're trying to do something, continue to do what you think you can do without dimming your light. So it made me think of that when you said lighthouse. So
Yeah, I think for me too, I think it all goes back to just focusing on what's in your control. I think in college for me, because I was the best from where I came from. When you get to college, everyone's the best from where they come from. So you start getting in this comparison game and, wishing you had, the touch of this other forward, or wishing I had the fitness that this other girl had. And you start getting so lost in things that are out of your control. I can't control what they're doing. And for me, what I think really set me apart, especially the year of the Olympics, is really just figuring out how to just focus on what's in my control. And if I execute to the best of my ability, good things will happen. And that's all you can control is just doing your best and being the best version of yourself. And for me, I kind of had this peace of mind where I'm like, if I'm doing that, I'm okay if someone else beat me that day, because I did my best and I focused on what I could control and I executed what I could execute. And if it's not me that day, it's not me that day, but I'm going to do the best that I can. And I think when you kind of let go of that anxiety and control of what everyone else is doing and that focus, it really can allow you to just hone in on your own skills and do the best that you can there. And then things just kind of fall into place.
What did you do? What'd you do when you found out like it wasn't going to work, or you fell down, or the event didn't go as planned? I mean, these kids, again, they're running from sport to sport, and us as parents too. So maybe look at it from that lens. What your parents did well, for all those that will watch this. I mean, what do we need to do as better parents and for the kids if they do fall down, or if they're feeling bummed out? What can we be doing better?
I think what's missing from a lot of this is that the kids aren't at the table when the parents and everybody are deciding their future. What you see is this, like, my son or daughter is going to be the best at X. And they're not really having those conversations with the son or daughter about, is that what you really want? Is this really something that you want to take to this distance? Because if it is, we're behind you. We'll support you. And I think what ends up happening is you get people in their 15, 16, 17 years old, and there isn't that communication anymore where the kid's just like, I am not into this. Like it happened with me with football. Like my parents thought I loved it. I hated it. I was 5'8", 130 pounds when I was almost 16, and I was itty bitty. And I was just a tackling dummy, but I loved playing flag football and like backyard football because no one could tackle me. But you put on pads and it was just a different game, and there wasn't that communication. And they thought it was out of the blue, but I was like, I'm done. Like I'm not playing. And it was this big argument and all this stuff, but because we weren't having those conversations, they thought there was a future here, and I was not about that life. So as parents, especially stuff that my wife and I, who was a professional athlete and a world championship medalist in the pole vault, we get it. Like we understand the way in which we want to help them find their passion and find the things that they're passionate about. And it's by having those conversations up front about, hey, we want to support whatever it is you want to do to the fullest, and we're going to hold you accountable for this. Like, we're not going to let you get out of it. If this is something that you're committed to, we're going to finish it out and go to a certain point with it. But I think that's all that's really missing, is that upfront, like, what journey do you want to go on, and we'll help you go there, instead of this, like, my kid's going to be the best lacrosse player in Connecticut, or, whatever it is.
Right.
Do you think that that's where most of like the problems happen, is that parents are like forcing their children to do something they don't really want to do, but they could like go pro or the Olympics with something else? But there's a fine line between finishing what you start and honoring a commitment, and being genuinely unhappy or feeling like you're in like harm's way.
Yeah.
For myself in football, I was in harm's way. I was genuinely unhappy. Right. But they made me finish the season. I mean, that was like 4 games in. It was a long 8 games to finish that year.
But you did it. Yeah. And I think you probably learned a lot from that. I
got quick feet. Yeah. I was squirmy.
So this one's directed a little towards Annie. Sorry.
Okay.
But
no, you're fine.
So I know you played soccer all the way through college, and I knew you were doing track on the side, but how do you just not go with soccer anymore after you've been playing it that long? Like, I have basketball, but I don't feel like that's something I could go pro in. So I just can't think to myself of dropping soccer whenever I get to college. Like, did you love what you do right now so much that you could handle dropping it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I loved both of them so much that when I was looking at schools, I was only talking to the people that were going to allow me to do both. I was super stubborn in that. And, kind of what Trey was saying, my parents never pigeonholed me into one thing. They kept me part of the conversation. I made every decision on my own. They asked me what I wanted, and that was my goal. I wanted to do both in college. And then to kind of switch into track and field, I just lost that passion for soccer. It had been my focus my entire life. I made so many amazing relationships and learned so much through it. But I found myself kind of like Trey was talking about with football, where I just wasn't as happy. I wasn't excited to get out to the soccer practice anymore by about like my senior year. And I was kind of just ready for that transition into track and field. And then when I did, I was just obsessed with the sport. It was I fell in love with track all over again and realized I had this really strong passion for it. So I think it's just really trusting your gut and knowing that, whatever you're just trusting your gut and knowing, making sure you're having fun in whatever you're doing and you're still passionate about it. I think when you lose that, you kind of have to start reanalyzing things and figure out if it's for you anymore or not.
Would you agree too? I mean, that's a great question, Addison, but there's probably times, Annie, that you weren't in love with soccer. So she may be in love with soccer today at 14.
Yeah.
But maybe at 16 and 18 and 20, she's not, but that doesn't mean you just give up, right?
Right. No. And I think, that's adversity. You're going to come across adversity all the time. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you right now. After the Olympics, I kind of went through a little, a lot of people talk about like the Olympic hangover. And I definitely went through that, where I was sitting here like, gosh, do I still want to keep going? Like I thought I did, but maybe I don't. So you're going to have these like ebbs and flows with your sport. But I think if it becomes this like really long stretch of time where you're just simply unhappy with what you're doing, that's when you reanalyze it. But things like adversity and things like that, you're going to go through times where you're not as happy, but I think you push through. When you think about what your goals are, I think that's what really helps me, is sitting down and having really specific goals. And then if I'm in one of those low points with my sport, I sit there and I say, is this still my goal? Do I still want this? Am I passionate about this? And if I am, it's like, all right, let's get through this. Let's take it one day at a time, get through this adversity. And then we'll just keep going towards that goal that I have. But I don't know if that answered your question or not, but
Addison, any other questions you have? Because I know you got to probably go to basketball here shortly.
I think that's all for me.
Perfect. What would you say the car ride was like with you guys? I mean, with your parents? I read an article. I don't know if doesn't matter. Some magazine that talked about the car ride can ruin a lot of sports for people. Can you kind of bring us back to those days?
My dad and I listened to a lot of the Beatles, the Eagles, Michael McDonald, and he kept it light. I just remember I have all those songs like memorized because of the amount of times we listened to them. My parents never, I think we would have like a 5-minute debrief of games. And then I would kind of be like, all right, guys, I love you. Thanks for your advice. So let's switch the subject. I had like a time limit. I'm like, okay, give me your opinions for this 5 minutes and then I'll take it in, and I love you and see you later.
Yes.
That's funny.
Mine was more like Neil Diamond and Bob Seger. Those were our discs.
There you go.
Our tapes that we wore out. I'm a little different generation. There were no smartphones. You're just staring out the window at cows. That was it. There was no internet in the car, Right. But my parents were just on manners. Like I'll never, every time before I was getting out of the car to go to a practice or a game, it was all right. Say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, please, and thank you. Have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you after the game. There was no strategy, nothing. Be polite, respectful, have a good time. See you later. Oh,
yeah,
you won.
Have fun.
Oh, you're good at this? Okay, great. Good job, Trey.
Good job. I'll go do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, even when I said I was going to be an Olympian, I'm going to be a professional pole vaulter, my mom just said, just make good grades.
Yeah.
And be nice to the refs. That's what we always tell our kids.
Don't
yell at the refs.
My parents always would tell me to like shake the refs' hands after games and things like that. My mom also would bribe me sometimes with goals. She'd be like, if you score 3 goals, I'll give you $20.
Hey, we'll start doing that maybe. Drew just picked up volleyball. We'll have to figure that out. Can you walk us through, and for those listening, and you guys got to rock. So we're gonna take Addison off the.
Thank you, and it was wonderful meeting both of you guys.
Nice to meet you. Good luck. Addison. Thanks for all the thoughtful
questions.
Annie,
real quick, so Addison's team, they were second in the nation last year. They got second runner-up in the national championship for, what was it, U13, U14?
14.
Yeah, you 14.
Oh my God, that's
so
incredible.
Out in California. So
That's
high
amazing.
hopes for some more stuff.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep it rolling. That's amazing.
Okay.
Some of those are like some of the best memories you'll have. Even
Yeah.
looking back at that, like
Even
times when I was your
everyone
age with my
crying.
girlfriends. Yeah.
Everyone
So
crying after the game. That was
Yeah.
that's a memory.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congrats.
Will you guys
you.
bring home a winner for O'Fallon girls sectionals
Yeah,
tonight, right?
good luck.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Well, it's just
you.
you and I, Drew. We got a few more questions here for you, if that's all right. So can you walk us down memory lane on what it was like when you knew you were making the Olympics and what that night was, opening ceremonies, you're walking around with all these athletes?
I'll let Annie go first there. It's a little fresher.
Yeah. Oh man. Gosh, for me, the Olympic trials going in, I didn't have a full heptathlon. So I really just had to decide to trust myself and trust my training and know I was ready. And I surpassed every expectation that I had for myself. So it was really just a surreal moment. And then after javelin, I pretty much knew Erica, Kendall, and I had made the team because of how far ahead our points were from the other girls. And I just, as long as I didn't fall or, run 3-minute 800, I would make the team. So going into that, I realized, oh my God, I could win it though. So that was really exciting. And when I crossed the finish line and we were waiting in anticipation, I saw the number 6-7 and I was at the top of the leaderboard, and it was just a surreal moment because it's, you go through so many ups and downs training for the Olympics. It's such a long journey for us. It was a 5-year journey that we had been on, and all the tears, all the hardships, all the self-doubt, it all was worth it. And it was more than I could have ever dreamt of. My whole family was in the stands there to support me. And there's nothing like it, grabbing that flag and getting to do your victory lap, knowing all your hard work paid off. And I didn't get to go to the opening ceremony, so Trey can probably give you a little bit more with that, the Olympic experience. I had a little bit of a different Olympic experience with Tokyo, but it's a surreal, incredible moment that you'll never forget.
Yeah, same feelings. Had just going into that 08 trials was my very first real shot to make the team, and went in, hadn't done a full. I'd been seriously injured all year. I think I'd scored way below the Olympic standard, just barely. I mean, got in on, score wise, and had a good meet, scored really well. And you're sitting there on the podium, and the two gentlemen, at the last Olympic trials, the one that won the silver medal in Athens, the world champion from 2003, wow. I was right there, and I beat one of them. I got second. I'm sitting there, and it's this it's oh crap, it worked. Like what Annie's saying, all the stuff that you don't really know why you're doing it. You do, but you're I hope this works. I hope this is the right thing. I hope these are all the things I'm supposed to be doing, because no one has this blueprint of how Annie Kunz is supposed to make the team or how Trey is supposed to make this team. And so you're sitting there, and I knew I was going to be on the team relatively early on in the competition, but until you cross the line, you see your name, you see a score, and you're
it's real.
Oh my gosh, this worked.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this worked. And you're just and you get this rush of all the people that helped you get to that spot.
Yeah.
All the therapy, I'm texting people that gave me a massage in January, we did it, I can't believe it.
It takes a village.
Exactly. And then the enormity, you get there. It was my first time out of the country, was Beijing. I land, you unpack in the village, and I'm basically just had my kit with me. You put it on, you walk down, and it was the walk itself, not a great experience. It was 7 hours on your feet. It was just miserable, but I'm oh my goodness, there's Kobe Bryant.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. That's LeBron. And you're just, they're the biggest names, and the enormity of it. And the president at the time, George W. Bush, walked in, started saying, "How's it going, guys?" And then his dad walked in right behind him, H.W. Bush. And you're this is a big deal.
Wow.
I thought this was cool. Now this is a really big deal. And it became
such an honor.
Started to get in my head a little bit about okay, this is way too big a deal for you, Trey. You're just this little kid from Alabama. You have no business being here. But that was that opening ceremonies thing. There's a ton of pride and honor, and you're walking out into a stadium that's just the center of the actual universe. And life as we know it, there might be life on other planets, but for all intents and purposes, everyone on Earth was watching the Beijing opening ceremonies. And there I am just like, okay, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was just a really,
well, it's got to be so emotional too. I mean, you've been eating,
So emotional,
perfectly fine for 8 years, 4 years, whatever it's been, right? I mean, your diet to sacrifice and maybe some not as late nights as your friends wanted to go out. There's so many sacrifices. That's what I love about the Olympics is just the magnitude of the sacrifices these people, you athletes make is incredible. Incredible.
Oh yeah. It's a lot.
I mean, Annie, you're doing it now, right? To get ready for the next one. I mean, you got what, 3 years? No, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Annie's got the world championships on US soil this summer.
This
gotta get ready for that.
Yeah, that's what we're getting ready for right now. And then obviously Paris in I guess 2.5, almost 3 years. So yeah, and I think that's, kind of been the struggle of getting back into it again. I don't know if you can relate to that, Trey, the year after the Olympics, but it's everything emotionally, physically, mentally. You put everything you possibly can into making that Olympic team. And then you have this pinnacle moment where, you're wearing the USA uniform that you've dreamt about. You're next to the Olympic, the reigning Olympic champion. You're competing against girls that you've looked up to for your whole life, basically. So it's just this pinnacle moment in your career. So now I'm kind of getting in that where I have to get back into that and set my goals again and really get, disciplined and diligent about my goals and the sacrifices that it's going to take. And so, yeah, I'm kind of getting back into that mode and dealing with a couple injuries right now, but getting ready for Outdoor Worlds this July, which will be in Eugene, which is super, super exciting to be able to host that and have it in US soil at Hayward Field and Hayward Magic, where the Olympic trials were. So I'm super excited about that.
That's cool. Drew, what do you got?
One last question for me. So when you were like sports and you feel like there were people that doubted you, do you feel like now that you're an Olympian that they're kind of like more confident in you and try to like become friends with you now? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe
not cool because in the Olympics now, huh?
maybe not friends, but there's a very, very passive, very, very passive, indirect, I told you so all over the world right now, Like everybody that ever thought, I wasn't going to be anything. It's a terrible motivator. It's external motivation, trying to do something to prove something to someone else.
Right.
A lot of mine came from within my own self of just being that best version of myself. But there's, the high school version of me when I was just pole vaulting was really just to stick it to the high school basketball coach.
Yeah, it's true.
That was it. Like I was the guy told me to go be a pole vaulter. And I was like, all right, here comes a big middle finger because I'm going to be the best pole vaulter anyone's ever seen, And that only gets you so far. It really only lasts for like a month or so. The things that I'm dealing with now in this like post-Olympic life, let's like post-track career, was that I did a really good job. I felt like not tying my identity into an outcome or into like Trey the Olympian. That is who I was. And it is still to this day who I am. I was made a couple of Olympic teams, and it's something to be really proud of now. But I spent just way too much time trying to run away from that identity and run away from the fact that I had gotten to do those really neat things and been blessed enough to participate in those things and have a better relationship right now between who I am as a real human being and a father and a husband and a friend and Trey the Olympian. Where when I was doing the Olympic stuff, we were all the same person. Now I can kind of separate the two. And it's it's hard to describe because I'm still kind of actively going through it. But the people that were my friends before I did anything cool are still my friends to this day.
Yeah. Same. And I think I've tried to really ground myself in that too. And I think because I was, not sponsored for so many years, up until after the Olympics, I got sponsored. And so for those years, no one's paying you. You're not doing it for anyone but yourself. And I'm just super grateful for that because my road wasn't super easy. And I think along that road, I learned that it has to come from me. It has to come from within. I can't do this for anyone else but myself. I can't do it for my parents or whoever else. And I think learning that and then kind of never tying my full identity to my sport has also I think it allows you to kind of just let go and have fun with it and not have all this pressure on you. And for me, it's kind of giving me that balance too, where, I have my friends, I have my boyfriend, my dogs, I have my hobbies, I have things outside of track that.
Yeah. So you got to change your lingo, man.
I know. I've done that like 3 times today. My fiance now. Oh, geez, there's my phone. But I think I think touching on what Trey said is just your sport isn't your identity. And I think figuring that out is really important.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we could talk for hours upon hours. And I know you guys are busy people, but just really thankful for your time and lots of great wisdom today to Addison Baldus, who was with us, and for Drew Gilliland here. Just awesome stuff. For me as a dad, it's pretty cool to see your son take notes, on stuff that you guys have. I'm sitting here wishing I could take pictures of this and just kind of bottle this up, because it's pretty awesome time. He unfortunately had to miss one. My other 3 boys got to do one with Bunchy Young, the kid that was on the Super Bowl, and Drew couldn't make it that night. So this was Drew's way to get back here. He's here and his brothers are at home right now. So you can laugh at them later, Drew. But seriously, to Annie and Trey, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are busy people and your own stuff going on. You didn't have to do this. And it's just cool. And we came up with the idea to say, hey, let's help some kids. Let's help some parents. And both of you are like, let's do it. Like in a millisecond, let's do it. So very thankful for that.
Well, thank you for setting this up. It's even just fun for me to get to listen to Trey and kind of some of his experiences. Trey's name has been a big name in track and field for a long time. So this is super fun for me. And any way we can help out kids. And I wish I would have learned a lot of the things I know now at their age. So thank you for setting this up and giving us that opportunity.
Absolutely. Can you plug anywhere to find more of you if people want to follow your road to success and the gold medal?
Yeah, I am on Instagram mainly, just Annie_Kunz7. And then Twitter, just Annie_Kunz. Those are my 2 things I'm usually on. Yeah.
And Trey, what are you doing these days? You want to plug your business real quick, and then where we find more of you?
I'm mainly on Instagram and some Twitter, but it's at Trey Hardee. Really, really simple stuff.
Very good.
And in like 4 or 5 months, we'll circle back on the business, but things are going really, really well.
Awesome.
Yeah, basically bringing the peak performance of decathlon and Olympic success in the decathlon into wellness.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It is awesome. We'll have a whole nother show on that sometime, but thank you both again for being with us. Very, very thankful for your time. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Tune in next week for another episode of The Circuit of Success with Brett Gilliland on the lineupmedia.fm podcast network. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and through our website, circuitofsuccess.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and email any questions to info@circuitofsuccess.com.
This podcast was a presentation of lineupmedia.fm.